Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. A ride.
This episode is brought to you by... Oops. I've got a box of Cheez-It crackers staring at me, and I just wanted that irresistible cheesy crunch. Sorry, that was a total snacksident. What was I supposed to be talking about? So salty, so crunchy, so cheesy. Whoops. Lost my train of thought. I've heard of brain freeze, but brain cheese? I'll just have one more Cheez-It cracker, and then I'll get back to it.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We're back, folks. This is the More Money Show. We're playing all your favorite Christmas classics on this weekend before Christmas. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Christmas season. I am, although, gosh, I'm so far behind. I think I'm going to have to spend the next couple days trying to catch up on my shopping, because, only 3 or 4 days left before Christmas. Okay. I wanted to bring on, I pleaded with her to come on my show, an old friend, Maria Salazar, who is, one of the smartest people on immigration. And she is a congresswoman from the great state of Florida. She represents, an area around Miami. I forget exactly what area you're in, Maria, but she and I have been talking for years about how to fix the immigration system. We both believe that immigrants are great assets to our country, especially and including, of course, the Hispanics who come in from all over South America and Cuba and so on. And I'm very worried about some of the Republican rhetoric about deporting people. It makes me uneasy, and it makes Maria uneasy too. So first of all, Maria, Merry Christmas, and thanks so much for coming on the show.
Listen, you are one of the smartest people in Washington. So
that's a low bar.
That I'm on your show. Hey, makes me a Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm delighted to be with you. I really mean it. And we're good friends, and you helped me win with great ideas in 2020. So eternally grateful to you, Steve.
So so Maria, by the way, you're Hispanic yourself. Where's your family from?
I am a first-generation American, Cuban-American. My parents are political refugees. And so we know what socialism brings. We know what a wonderful system, what a wonderful system the United States, American exceptionality, the American way of life, the American agenda means for humanity and for people like my parents and myself in one generation, made it from political refugees to a member of the United States Congress.
That's amazing. It's only in America. It's a great story. Only here, yes. So you have been a superstar, but here's the thing, and from the time I first met you, we were talking a lot about immigration reform, and you're so smart on this issue. You're talking to people in the Latino community all the time because your district is heavily, what percentage of your district is people of Hispanic?
75%, 75%, yeah. And they are Cuban Americans and Venezuelan Americans and Central Americans and people that, just like I told you, they love the American way of life. And that's why I understand immigration so well. And that's why this is a 40-year problem. Internet did not exist when this problem was already happening. Mm-hmm. Since Ronald Reagan in 1986, we do not have an immigration reform that will fix the immigration system. Mm-hmm. And that is what I'm trying to bring to the table as a proud GOP. And the only guy who can definitely deal with this is Donald J. Trump. That's why I wrote this legislation, which, it's called the Dignity Act. The guys can fix it.
Yes. So let's go through this because it's very important. And Maria, I think I agree with almost everything in this bill. And incidentally, I think you and I would agree that Donald Trump has done an amazing job on securing our border, which is fantastic. And Tom Homan is a good friend of mine. He's done an amazing job and then also, I think you and I would also agree, and I think most of our listeners would agree, we need to get rid of the bad actors, the criminals, the people who are the drug runners and the gang members and the potential terrorists who could do our country harm. And I think Trump has done a great job on that. What makes me nervous, Maria, and I'd like your reaction to this, is I'm reading more and more and seeing on TV more and more of these deportations of people who are just working in the country. Maybe they come in illegally, but they are not criminals. They're working. They're paying taxes. And it seems to me there needs to be it cannot be amnesty. I think almost everybody is against amnesty, but a program where somebody is doing the right thing. I mean, look, they came in illegally, so they can't have a road to citizenship. So you and I think we both are in agreement on this, and you have a great way of dealing with this problem because,
thank you.
Sorry to go on, Maria, but if it were not for Hispanic voters who turned to Trump, we might be talking about President Kamala Harris today, but Hispanics, you were the one who told me this, Hispanics are not happy with the deportations.
No, they're not. And that's the very big problem. 55% of Hispanic males voted for President Trump for the first time in history, and we have lost them. We have lost them. And we do need that coalition in order to be able to keep winning elections.
Right.
Hey, listen, if you don't win elections, you don't change laws. If you don't change laws, you fall in the hands of the socialists, period.
So what do we do? What do we do?
Very big. We don't give them amnesty. We give them something called dignity. Dignity is the name of my legislation. Amnesty, what does that mean? Well, it means many things for many people, but I think that amnesty is basically give them path to citizenship and not have them pay for their crimes. Okay, so in my legislation called Dignity, Not Amnesty, we're going to give them a dignified life in the promised land, which is the United States. We're going to make them pay for their crimes, which is $7,000 in fine. 1% of their salary is going to be levied on them, so they have to give 1% to the Treasury. All right? The border is now, like you said, sealed. We need to codify that into law. And then what we do is that we seal the border and we concentrate, and then we bring those people who have been here for more than 5 years. I'm not talking about the Biden migrants. I'm talking about the historicals, the ones who have been here for more than 5 years.
More than 5 years,
Picking up the jalapeno peppers.
Yes.
In construction, hospitality, agricultural, slaughterhouses, dairy, greenhouses, everything that has labor intensive. That labor force is going to be secured for the barons of those different sectors, which compose 20% of the economy of this country. Construction, hospitality, and agricultural are 17% of our economy. So we give them a secure labor force.
So hold on, Marie, just so, because this sounds very good to me, but don't go too fast. So would these folks then, would they get a green card? Would they get a visa? How would it work?
They get the dignity card.
The dignity card, okay.
The dignity card, because among the Hispanics, and I know them very well, as you know, I am one of the founders of Univision, which is a Spanish network, the most important. And so I know what I'm talking about. And the people who are illegal or undocumented, who have been here for decades, they do not necessarily want to be United States citizens. They want to live a dignified life. Right. They want to stay and not be deported. Their American children could enjoy those privileges.
Now,
you let them stay. Let them stay.
This is good. I like where you're headed with this. So I'll just ask you a couple questions about it, if I may, Maria. Sure. So let's say you get somebody who came in illegally, they get the dignity card, but they commit a crime. Then could they be deported? In other words, I don't want people who are criminals in this country. Also, I don't want people to go on welfare either. If you want to come in and build a better life for yourself, but if you come in and you're on all the government programs, we can't afford that. We can't afford to provide free health care for everybody. Okay.
I give you dignity if you do not have a criminal record.
Right.
You get dignity status for 7 years if you do not have a criminal record, if you have been working, and then what does that give you? It gives you the right to stay and go home for Christmas.
Hold on, because I want to be clear on this. So you get the card, but let's say you were in the country for 7 years and you haven't committed a crime. But what if you do commit a felony? Then can we deport them?
You lose them. You lose your dignity status.
Okay, got it.
You cannot commit a crime, and you cannot vote, of course, and you cannot claim any federal programs, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, none.
I love this. Maria, it is so obvious that this is the solution to the problem. But incidentally, you know, we have something like 11,000 Americans retiring every year, but we only have about 7,000 young people entering the workforce. So we're going to need these people.
Of course, Steve. By 2035, according to what I've heard in Congress, we're not going to have enough money to pay Social Security. Well, you have the Hispanics.
Yeah,
22% of the population. That's right. And they want to work, and they don't have any problems in paying into Social Security as long as they can pay for their crime of having come in illegally. It's impossible. We're not going to be able to deport 10, whatever million people are in the country. Yeah. We're not going to be. And besides that, it's impossible to be happening what's happening right now. I'm sure you know, in Washington, D.C., some people, I have a friend who stayed in the hotel, and they said, I cannot clean your room every day because we don't have people to change the sheets. What?
Maria, this is just a great, I haven't read the whole bill, but what you're describing to me is exactly the right solution. It's called the Dignity Act. We got to get this to Donald Trump. We've got to get it to the people at the various agencies. And even my friend Tom Homan, I've talked to him about it. He likes this program because then they go after the bad guys, not the good guys.
Steve, that's the problem. That Holman is a good man, and he's just following directives from the White House.
Well, he's doing what his boss is telling him.
Of course, and that's exactly what you need to do, that you need to do what your boss tells you. But then that's why I'm saying the only guy who can get this done is the guy who comes from hospitality and from agricultural, and from construction, Donald Trump.
Maria, we've got to take a 1-minute break. I would like to, with your permission, is hold you over, and I want to take some callers. I'm going to take some callers, and I want to ask, you can ask Maria about her legislation. This could be big for the country. It's big for the Republican Party, and it makes a lot of sense. Folks, this is the More Money Show. The More Money Hotline, we'll take your calls right after the break, is 1-800-848-9222. But Mr. Producer, we're going to take only callers who want to talk about the Dignity Act. I want to hear what people have to say about it. This is the More Money Show. We'll be right back, folks. Maria Salazar, the Congresswoman from Miami, to tell us more about this immigration system. By the way, Maria Carey, a great, great Hispanic American.
Yes. She sings
what
a
lot
voice.
Better than I do. Voice.
Yes.
So, we're going to take some questions from Maria, from you all about her Dignity Act. I know people feel strongly one way or the other. I'm in favor of what she's talking about. I've been proposing something to Donald Trump very similar to what Maria is talking about. I called it pay to stay. In other words, if you haven't committed a crime, you have to pay a penalty because you're not going to be rewarded for coming in illegally. But Maria has a more comprehensive bill that I think makes so much sense, both economically and politically. Maria.
Yes, it's national security. This is not a political bill. This is not an immigration bill. This is a national security. This is an economic bill because national
and
security.
An economic bill, exactly.
Of course, it's an economic bill because there's no way that we're going to be able to grow as a country. And you are a top, brilliant economist. There's no way that we don't have hands to be able to grow. Understand that everyone cannot be a doctor and a scientist. You need every area of this economy. And you need people that Americans have decided not to participate in those jobs, which are like picking up the jalapenos or being in the slaughterhouses. But we need to have vegetables and fruits that are cheap.
Yep.
And it's simple.
It's true. And in fact, the Hispanics, by the way, these are amazing statistics, Maria, and I have to show this to you the next time we get together. But the Hispanic Americans, the median family income of Hispanic Americans today is $72,000. And most of these people came from poor countries, where, nobody gets anywhere near $72,000, that most of them are first or at most second generation. So they've only been in the country for maybe 15 or 20 years. They're making $72,000 a year because they're working their butts off. They have an incredible work ethic. They're doing a lot of that jobs. And incidentally, if I may, Maria, when they do these raids, because we've been doing these raids periodically for 25 years, go into factories and get rid of the illegal immigrants, go into the agricultural fields and so on. And everybody's, that'll free up these jobs. Guess what? They go back 6 months later and no Americans moved into the jobs. And so there's more, immigrants in these positions. So this idea that, we're going to free up all these jobs for Americans, I don't buy that.
Or we are going to, on the fields, we're going to create robots that are going to pick up the jalapeno peppers. There are stone fruits that need,
at some point we will, but that ain't coming in anytime soon.
Well, and the stone fruits, for what I've heard from farmers, you need human hands to pick them up. Otherwise, you destroy the peaches and the berries and the strawberries specific that we love to have in the morning. The average American, this is good for the average American guy who's going to be able to have vegetables and fruits and a hotel room when they go on a business trip that is going to be cheap, affordable, and clean. Yep. It's evident what we're doing. So those people are here. Let them stay. Let them pay for their crimes. Don't give them path to citizenship. Don't give them any type of federal programs. Allow them to go home for Christmas, buy a home, buy a credit card, be able to buy a car. Yeah. And then the economy, consumerism is going to go up through the roof. And we're going to continue having the best military in the world.
Okay, so one of my producers, Elias, has a question for you, Maria. Go ahead.
Please do.
Good afternoon, Congresswoman.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So my question would be, how would your team essentially explain to all the Hispanics and immigrants that everything that you're proposing is in their best interest, that they won't, their work and their efforts won't be taken advantage of?
Oh, well, the Hispanic community, and that's why I'm one of the leaders of the largest minority in the country. I know that the Hispanic community overwhelmingly supports no path to citizenship and fining them $7,000 and giving and levying of 1% of their salary. I mean, this is a tough bill for those who are illegals and have been here for more than 7 years, but it doesn't matter because it allows them to continue working, making the $72,000 that Steve just explained, and they can go home at night safely, go home for Christmas, bury their mom, and be able to be part of the American exceptionality. Period. Hispanics love it. And the good thing is that then Hispanics will see the GOP as the party that has embraced them, welcomed them, and shares the same values: God-fearing, law-abiding, tax-paying, family-oriented, small government. What are we doing as the GOP? We're pushing these people away with the voting card in their hands. That's my frustration.
So Maria, following up on that question, polls have been done of Hispanics about why they voted for Donald Trump. And a very common answer is because they believe Donald Trump is the fighting for the working man and woman, and that he is going to create jobs for Americans, and that he will, he wants people to work hard. And now the concern is, well, wait a minute. Now all of a sudden the immigrant people, the ICE agents are coming to these communities and taking people out in handcuffs, even if they haven't committed any crime, even if they're not a criminal or some kind of danger to the public.
That is correct. And the underlying message, what you're just saying, is that the Hispanics voted for Trump because he's a strong figure, because he represented a good economic scenario, but also because he shared the same values, this diversity, gender ideology, the wokeness. None of that belongs to the Hispanic, the average Hispanic person in this country. And what you're telling me, that everything that we heard from this democratic socialism sector within the Democratic Party, that pushed the Hispanics away from the Dems. Now they come, and for what I hear is we did not vote for this, because the problem is that we are sending the message, the GOP, President Trump and everybody else in the GOP, that we are people that do not appreciate the Hispanics in this country. And that is very dangerous.
Yes.
Because we're pushing them away after we had them.
Yeah,
We're pushing them away. And this is political suicide.
I agree. I've used that same term. And I know some people are probably angry. Steve Moore and Maria Salazar want amnesty. They want the illegal immigrants. No, and by the way, we need to have job, programs where people can come into the country to fill some of these jobs. And it's very simple, folks. Just do the math. There is no way Republicans can win elections without the Hispanic vote, Maria. No way.
Well, look, right there. And, you're an economist. I'm delighted, honored that you understand the concept is national security. We need to know who our neighbor is. Mm-hmm. We need to clean out the bad hombres. Holman can definitely concentrate the BBB money that we gave, the $150 billion to secure the border. Then you concentrate the ICE agents looking for the Trenderagua, the MS-13, the rapists, the murderers. Right. Concentrate on them and kick them out with no mercy. Of course we don't have any problems, but we're not. That's not the directive. And so it's national security. Tell me.
We got another question from Zach. Zach is my producer, Maria.
Hi, Congresswoman Salazar. Thank you so much for joining the show. I just wanted to ask, I know we've talked about what to do with the historical illegals who've been here for over 6 years. And we've talked a little bit about securing the border. Those are two important components of the bill. I'm also thinking, what's the changes that the bill would outline for new arrivals, for temporary workers, perhaps, for people coming newly from Central America, South America, or the Caribbean?
It's a great question, Maria, because a lot of the Hispanics who come, they want to come in and do seasonal work here and then maybe go back to Mexico or go back to Guatemala, so this would facilitate commerce. They're not, a program where they could come in legally. We do have a seasonal worker program, but we need more visas for that as well.
That is correct, and that's the seasonal. We're making the seasonal into temporary, because seasonal is only for a few months, but then what happens with the dairies, that you need to milk the cows the whole year, not only picking up one specific crop. So we go seasonal to temporary, and that person, which I think is H2, I'm not sure. It's like...
I think it's H2A. Yeah.
H2A. Okay. So then you increase that number, but at the same time, you have those who are now illegally that could be then temporary. Okay. That could be now for 7 years when they get the dignity status and they can fill some of those jobs. This, Steve, will change completely the landscape, because you will see first and foremost how many people are here that are illegal, that have been here for more than 5 years and that do not have not committed a crime. And then they come out. I give them 1 year, because this is a one-shot deal. You are here. I give you 1 year to come out of the shadows. Say, I'm Pepe Perez. I live in Los Angeles. I have not committed a crime. Here's where I'm proving that I have been here for 17 years. And that person is now available to go work whatever, because the E-Verify is mandatory.
Yep. There you go.
So not voluntary, mandatory.
By the way, Maria, this, just to be clear, this would not just apply to Hispanics. It might apply to immigrants who came in from Africa or immigrants who came in from Asian countries Ireland, as well.
Everywhere.
Right?
But the overwhelming majority, 70-80% of the legal class is Central American and Mexican.
Oh, Central American. Okay.
That's reality. The overwhelming majority are either Mexicans or Guatemalans, Salvador, Honduras, people who can cross the border, who have been here for more than 5 years, and you have millions of those. And like I said, no path to citizenship. And you know what, Steve? They don't care. That was a creation of Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, of course it was.
Oh my God, we're going to give you pass because then you can vote for me. We're going to take that away.
Good. So it just makes an abundance of great sense, Maria. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thanks to you.
Last question for you before I let you go. And I know it's a Saturday afternoon before Christmas, but
no, I'm here.
Are you getting support from the White House? Are you getting support from other Republicans?
Well, I have a lot of support in the House of Representatives, the 223 members on the GOP side. The problem is that we're waiting for the President of the United States to lead the charge. Yes. And that's why I wrote a book. For whomever is listening to me, you can get it on Amazon.
I forgot to mention your book. I just got it. Yeah, what's it called again? The Dignity?
It's called the Dignity. Dignity, not citizenship. And you can go, Dignity, not citizenship. You can go to Amazon. You can download it. Very cheap. And I want you to know the truth about immigration that no one is telling you. This is dignity. This is not amnesty. Dignity is a biblical word that we as the United States, we can give to these people who have been here, have American children, have not committed a crime, and are helping us live better. Better in construction.
You know what, Maria?
And
when you ask people what's the first word that they think of when it comes to immigrants, they think hardworking, and they're amazing workers, and the immigrants work harder than native-born Americans.
You know why? Because they have a point of comparison. You said $72,000. Maybe for the average American, that is not that much. But for somebody who came from Honduras or from Guatemala, and they have the ability to live in the United States, work their asses off, like you said, picking up, stooping for 12 hours under the sun in California, but their children have a better future. And they are fine continue being from Honduras, but they want to live a dignified life. Everyone wants to be respected and live with dignity, and that's why it's the name of this legislation.
So, Maria, you and I have to go over to the Oval Office and meet with President Trump and make the case to him. I know Donald Trump. He's a rational guy. He loves Hispanics. He understands how important they are. I went to, when he was at his country club, I remember he would go out to see all the Hispanic workers, and he'd shake their hand and stuff. He loves people who are working hard. This is right up his alley. We're going to make this happen, Maria.
And I agree with you. That's why my book is dedicated to Donald Trump. And I said, sir, you're the only one who can make this happen. You can be for immigration what Lincoln was for slavery and what Reagan was for communism. That's it. It's your legacy. It's your legacy. So I'm glad. I thank you, Steve. I mean, you're a very influential guy. You helped him write in Trump #1 that tax law. And I deputize you. I mean, I'm working for the country. I'm working for the country. There's no better country than this one.
By the way, how many Hispanic Republicans are there in the House? You're one of them. How many are there?
We are. I would say 3, 4, 5. But you know,
we need like 20. We need like 25 Hispanic Republicans in the House. Well, you need to win those Hispanic districts.
Of course, it's so easy for us to just bring them. He proved it. Donald Trump proved that he can bring the Hispanics. 55% of the male Hispanics for the first time in history voted for Trump. And unfortunately, we have lost them all.
Yep. We got to go, Maria, but it's been a wonderful conversation with you. Folks, this brings us to the end of the show. I'm so pleased to be with you and we're going to do the show, by the way, next year, of course. And I hope you have a wonderful, holy and happy holiday season.
Of course.
I'm going to be pre-recording the show next week, but we'll be back live in early January. This is the More Money Show, and just been a great pleasure to be with you every week this past year.
Thanks for listening to More Money with Steve Moore. You can hear More Money with Steve Moore Saturday afternoons at 1. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here? Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. All right.